We use YouTube a lot around our home to find out how things are done or how things are repaired or what solutions are to what problems. Today we're going to do a video of our own on one of our projects that we call one of a kind. Many of you have seen my generator enclosure. It's been on YouTube now for at least a couple of years. The construction of this thing is much like the leaf collector. That's the way I work. With square steel tubing with sheet metal over it, and it really works for me. And we came up with the logo one of a kind because so far they are. Just a matter of months, I'm going to turn 80 years old, and I know YouTube don't have a fix for that, but because of that, I'm having problems taking care of the yard work and the things that have to be done out here. And in addition to the regular yard work you'd expect, we're having a lot of problems with the increased population of white-tailed deer. So that's making a lot more work for me than it normally would be. But there's nothing I can do about that except to try to equip myself so that I can handle it, and that's what we've done here. During the summer, the first thing I did, I purchased this tractor, and I know one of the first questions that I'll get is, what's Jonsered? And that's a good question. I never heard of them, but as I understand it, it's a Husqvarna tractor that's rebadged Jonsered, and it's sold mainly by independent tractor dealers so that they don't have to be competing so much with the big box stores. It's a Husqvarna tractor, basically. So I've seen them sold in different colors, or Husqvarna, Jonsered, and Aaron's dealer sells the tractor also with some variations in equipment. These tractors, this size usually has a stamped deck, and this one does, but it does have reinforcements around the outside, and some of them that I've seen in the stores prior to buying this did not have that. I settled on a 20 horsepower engine, and I made some changes to it that I think of as Paul Short type changes. If you follow Paul Short's videos on YouTube, you know that he doesn't leave anything stock. I made this bumper and put that on. I put rubber treads in the foot area. The biggest change that I made to it, I knew I was going to be pulling something, and that at that point I hadn't developed that yet. But I beefed up the rear end of the trailer, or rear end of the tractor rather, and put a trailer hitch, a regular 1 7/8 trailer hitch on a standoff to get the hitch ball up to where you would normally have it to pull a trailer, because I knew I was going to put something on it, but I didn't know what. I mentioned that we had problems with the deer population, and one thing that I've been doing that's been fairly effective to try to reduce the damage is to keep the lot, our property here, as clean as I can do it over the summer. And the big problem there is removing the leaves, because the back of the lot is wooded, and we get a lot of leaves, and I have to get the leaves about 150 feet down to the road where the township picks them up with a big vacuum truck. So I looked at what was available commercially, and it didn't appeal to me too much. I wanted more capacity than what the plastic bagger had. I really didn't like that at all, and that came with the tractor. And I wanted to make something. I had some doubt in my mind how much force these clippings would have coming up the chute. And as soon as I cut some long grass with it with my neighbor watching, and he said, "You're throwing that stuff 15 or 20 feet." So at that point I knew that what I had in mind was practical, because I didn't want a collector. This property's not big enough. I didn't want a collector that had an auxiliary vacuum motor, and I didn't think that I needed one. And after that little test with my neighbor, I knew that I'd be able to do something else. It was a lot simpler and smaller and even cheaper. The framework for this thing, we'll insert a still picture of that into the video. The framework is 1-inch square steel tubing, and most of the sheet metal is also steel. The door is aluminum, and this thing rolls on 5 pneumatic tires. Now that's a concern of mine, because if you go to do something like this, these are Harbor Freight tires and wheels, and they're ball bearings, and that part's all right, except that they really don't have any, the bearings don't have any protection from the dirt, and they get plenty of dirt. So I suspect I'll eventually have to change those wheels, but otherwise the thing's working perfectly. I really thought that I would have to put a finer screen inside these vents on the side, but it works fine. And these are 2 rows of vinyl flaps here. The purpose of that is to keep the debris from blowing back on me, and that works reasonably well. So once the leaves started coming down and we started to use it, we found out that it really worked very well, and in fact better than I imagined, because we're able to when we're doing leaves, we're able to get them up almost to the roof. It wasn't part of my plan, but after I got it to this stage, which is essentially finished, I found out that it had other uses, and we'll include a picture with this with 2 plastic totes in the back that I can use to haul anything. If I want to pick up rocks back behind, or which we have plenty of, or topsoil or fertilizer, or I could put if I needed to, I could put a plastic water tank in there, or even a sprayer. So it really has versatility that I hadn't even considered when I came up with the concept. So I hope you got some ideas here. But the most important thing, as far as I'm concerned, if you have any ideas of doing anything like this, is to make sure that the deck is designed well enough that it doesn't clog up. Because I know I hear of people just with tractors normally, in normal usage, that do that. But this is a good one. It must be a well-designed deck.